Yeah, so from the CPU side of things, we go to the Linux side of things. There was a report about a new security vulnerability called Dirty Pipe, which again allowed malicious access to system components on Linux. This already has been patched, luckily, so there have been already kernel updates out. But I found that interesting that this story basically popped up in the middle of basically the Steam Deck releasing. And I found it worthy to talk about the whole situation in general, because we saw something similar when the Mac became popular again in the early 2010s with the updated with the Intel Intel CPUs and so on, where Macs definitely became again much more mainstream than they were before, and therefore you had macOS becoming more mainstream. And once you have something become more mainstream, you are presenting a lucrative target to malicious people. And we are now in the situation that the same will happen with Linux, so in particular desktop Linux. The Steam Deck is running Arch, and yeah, there will be more effort taken to exploit users' devices, especially users' devices who are perhaps not familiar with Linux and who are making mistakes because they like to tinker around with their devices, which is totally fine. And it will probably not as bad as when with your phone, where you have a lot of sensitive data on. Not necessarily you will have sensitive data on your Steam Deck, because people who like to tinker around with it won't probably use this as their primary computer where they have all their documents and so on. That might happen, might be a case, but I think for most people the Steam Deck will be a gaming console, basically. But it's important to realize and see that the risk factor for people running desktop Linux getting attacked is definitely rising through that popularity, and that's nothing to be alarmed about. You have to just be aware about it, because that's a natural thing that happens when something gains popularity. And by the way, the article about this vulnerability that I'm showing here is from Ars Technica.